This video gives you an overview of how we'll use QCR discussions in the course. To watch the video, you're going to need two handouts. One is the QCR discussions itself. The other is the rubric for assessing levels of conversation. You can find those on the course homepage, and I'd suggest you pause the video now and get those handouts in front of you, either by printing them off or by having them up on your laptop before you go any further. The first thing you want to know about QCR discussions is I use these as a form of scaffolding, and scaffolding is an educational technique to make a complex task easier as students get used to performing the task. Well, the complex task in front of you is how to have a quality online discussion. You may have had experiences in the past with online discussions that are really a waste of your time. I don't want to do that. So I want to give you QCR discussions as we begin the course as a way to help you get used to having a good quality professional discussion online. Later in the course we may actually move away from QCR discussions, so in that sense I'm taking away the scaffold at that point, because then you've mastered the complex skill of talking online in a professional way. So how do they happen? First, what are they? QCR discussions? Take a second and glance through the QCR discussion handout. You probably want to pause the video, and that's fine. You'll find that as we do discussions, they're going to be broken into three parts. You'll post questions and comments and responses, and Blackboard assignments will tell you when each of those is due. One thing that's, as you look at the question portion, one thing that's interesting that is a little bit different for students is you begin QCR discussions with a question. You'll often read an article or view a video, and then you come and post a question. You don't start with a comment. You post a question about something that makes you think about teaching or your own practice or just in general, but you start with a question. Those questions usually the assignments will direct you. They usually are in-depth, thoughtful questions, and it may take you a couple of paragraphs to give your question because we need to know what your question is and why it's important to you. Then the next thing you post is comments. You go and read some of your peers' questions. You can read all of them depending on how many people are in the course. And then you post comments as Blackboard directs, where you read other people's questions and post a comment. Either something you're thinking or a concern you have or a thought that you want to share with them. The assignments will tell you how many comments to post and when all your comments are due. The last thing you do is, again, like it says on the handout, is you post responses to comments that you've received. So you go back to your question, you read your peers' comments, and then you post your responses. Make sure you read the Me Too option at the bottom. Keep in mind that the Me Too option is a way to keep, is a way to keep the discussions focused. You can imagine that if the course had 15 people and 15 people started with 15 different questions, we've got 15 different threads going on. Well, often people have similar questions, and the Me Too option would allow those 15 people, if many of them had similar questions, to use the Me Too option to maybe keep the discussion focused down to about 3 or 4 topics, depending on how many people wanted to use the Me Too option rather than actually posting an original question. That's what QCR discussions are. Then the second thing that you need to know about participating in them is the rubric. So take a second, look at that handout, and again, pause the video if you'd like to. Focus on levels 2 and level 3. Level 4 is often a level that people don't reach in the discussions that I have, but you can if you want to. Level 1 is often just a one sentence or even a phrase reply like, yep, me too, or I like that, or I don't think so, or oh yeah, same thing happens in my class. And often you don't get credit for level 1 post. I need to see something deeper. So what will usually happen is level 2 and level 3. Focus there for a second. Level 3 is that really deep, rich response, and make yourself a note that level 3 almost always requires more than one paragraph. It's actually about 2 or 3 paragraphs. That's a general rule of thumb. Make sure you're following the rubric, but that gives you a sense of how much you need to post. Level 2 can usually never be reached with just one sentence. Remember, that's usually a level 1 comment. Level 2 is shop talk, and that's okay, but it does have some meat to it, and often it's a paragraph of response. That gives you an idea of what these discussions are, and then you can look to Blackboard and the assignments, and they'll let you know about where to post, when to post, and how often to post. I look forward to talking with you.